we are introduced to a hitman, a person whose job is to eliminate targets. This hitman's name is Sakamoto. Many enemies stand in his way, but he takes them down one by one without hesitation. He is completely unfazed by his work, mercilessly eliminating everyone in his path. We are then told that a few years ago, there was a legendary hitman known as Taro Sakamoto. Every gangster feared his name, and every hitman wanted to be like him. But one day, he fell in love with a girl. He decided to leave his life as a hitman, married the girl, and eventually had a daughter. Over time, he gained a lot of weight and now runs a small shop. One day, a boy enters his store looking for Sakamoto. At the same time, Sakamoto notices a young kid aiming a target, who frequently visits his shop. Suddenly, a bottle of ink falls from the kid's bag, staining a man's white pants. Seeing this, the man becomes furious. He grabs the kid and is about to punch him, but Sakamoto quickly intervenes, stopping his hand. In that instant, Sakamoto imagines using a pencil to pierce the man's neck and take him down. However, in reality, he doesn't harm him. It's just a thought. The angry man then leaves the shop. The boy who had come looking for Sakamoto witnessed everything. He knew that Sakamoto had considered killing the man with a pencil. In reality, this boy is also a hitman, and his name is Shin. He is known as a psychic because he has the ability to read people's minds. At that moment, Sakamoto thinks about slapping him. Shin, sensing this, gets scared and quickly introduces himself. "I'm Shin. I used to work for you." Later, the two step outside and sit down. Shin looks at Sakamoto and says, "So you really started working at a small shop?" Shin wants Sakamoto to return to his old life as a hitman. However, Sakamoto thinks to himself, "My hitman days are over." Shin, unconvinced, insists, "You used to be a legendary hitman. Every gangster feared you. How can you just leave all of that behind?" Sakamoto doesn't respond. Instead, he calmly starts eating his noodles. Shin looks at Sakamoto and says, "You've gotten so fat. It's hard to recognize you now." As he says this, he takes out a cigarette and starts lighting it. But in an instant, Sakamoto slices the cigarette with incredible speed because there was a no smoking sign nearby. Seeing this display of speed, Shin realizes that even though Sakamoto has gained weight, he is still just as dangerous. If he wanted to, he could kill Shin in an instant. Just then, a delivery man arrives with some of Sakamoto's supplies. The man also asks Sakamoto for help. Hearing this, Shin assumes that Sakamoto is still working as a hitman while pretending to be a normal shopkeeper. But that wasn't the case. The delivery man actually needed help cutting down a tree, and Sakamoto often helped people with small tasks. From kids to elderly people, everyone in the neighborhood liked him. Seeing such a legendary hitman doing small, ordinary jobs, Shin gets frustrated. He scoffs and says, "I've lost all respect for you." After that, Shin goes back to his car and sits down. As he reflects, he thinks to himself, "It's been 5 years since I last saw Sakamoto, but even after getting fat, his aura hasn't faded. He's still incredible. I wish we could work together again." Just then, Shin receives a call from his boss. "Did you convince Sakamoto to come back?" the boss asks. Shin replies, "No." Hearing this, the boss coldly orders, "Then kill him!" He continues, "Anyone who leaves our gang must be eliminated. That's the rule of our world. If you can't do it, I'll send someone else." Shin was actually sent to kill Sakamoto, but deep down, he was a huge fan of him and didn't want to go through with it. After struggling with his thoughts, Shin realizes he has no other choice. If he doesn't kill Sakamoto, someone else will, and it might not be as merciful. So, if Sakamoto has to die, it should be by his hands. The next morning, Shin returns to Sakamoto's shop. As he walks in, Sakamoto's wife notices him and says, "You came yesterday too, right?" But Shin doesn't respond. Instead, he quietly attaches a silencer to his gun and steps inside the store. Facing Sakamoto, Shin says, "I'm leaving town today. Before going, I just wanted to say goodbye." And in the very next moment, he pulls the trigger. But just before the bullet can reach him, Sakamoto spits out the candy he was chewing. The candy collides with the bullet mid-air, changing its trajectory. Before Shin can react, Sakamoto swiftly throws an ice cream at him, then vanishes into thin air. Shin is left stunned. For the first time, he can't read Sakamoto's mind. After briefly distracting Shin, Sakamoto suddenly appears behind him and delivers a powerful kick to his face. Shin is sent flying backward and crashes to the ground. Dazed, he mutters, "I don't even know why I picked a fight with Sakamoto." And with that, he loses consciousness. When Shin regains consciousness, he finds himself inside Sakamoto's house, which is located on the upper floor of his shop. Soon, Sakamoto invites him to have dinner with his family. Shin is confused. Why did Sakamoto bring him to his house? Is there poison in the food? But after eating, he realizes there's nothing wrong. In fact, the food tastes amazing. Maybe it's because he hasn't had a home-cooked meal in a long time. At that moment, Shin sees Sakamoto's first real reaction. He looks truly happy. The warmth of the meal and the peaceful atmosphere make Shin feel a kind of joy he has never felt before. And now, he finally understands. Sakamoto didn't leave the hitman life out of fear. He left it for these little moments of happiness. After dinner, Shin thanks Sakamoto for the meal and quietly leaves. Before Shin leaves, Sakamoto silently points to a board. On it, the words, "Thank you, come again," are written. Shin takes one last look at Sakamoto before heading back to his gang. When he arrives, his boss is furious. "Why couldn't you kill him?" he demands. Shin lowers his head and replies, "Let Sakamoto live. He's happy with his family." Hearing this, everyone in the room bursts into laughter. His boss scoffs. "Sakamoto has broken the rules of our world. He abandoned his responsibilities, so he must die." But Shin stands firm. "I'll die instead of Sakamoto. Just let him live." The boss smirks and says, "All right, if you're willing to die, we'll let Sakamoto go." Then, turning to his men, he chuckles. "How stupid! Why would I listen to him?" Shin overhears this, and without hesitation, he raises his gun and points it at his boss. A fight breaks out. Meanwhile, back at the shop, Sakamoto sits quietly, listening to everything. Without saying a word, he presses a hidden button. Suddenly, a secret compartment opens, revealing an entire arsenal of weapons hidden inside his shop. Sakamoto picks up only a taser gun and leaves. Meanwhile, Shin is barely hanging on. Thanks to his ability to read minds, he manages to stay alive by predicting his enemy's moves. Suddenly, one of the men fires a bazooka at him, but Shin still survives. Seeing this, the boss warns his men, "If you get too close, he'll read your mind. Stay back and surround him." Shin is now out of bullets. 3 men corner him, ready to finish him off. But just before they can pull the trigger, Sakamoto appears from behind and gives an electric shock to them with the taser. Seeing Sakamoto, Shin and his boss are both stunned. Realizing what's happening, the gang rushes to attack Sakamoto. But Sakamoto, armed with nothing but 2 chopsticks, takes them down one by one. With incredible reflexes, he even catches incoming bullets with his bare hands. And in a flash, he wipes out his enemies with lightning speed. Despite his weight, Sakamoto possessed incredible strength. The boss, now desperate, shouts at his men, "Fire at him!" But Sakamoto effortlessly dodges the bullets, slicing through their guns with ease. In the blink of an eye, he takes down the goons, along with their boss. Shin watches in awe. At that moment, he truly understands. Sakamoto is still a legendary hitman. After the fight, Shin turns to him and asks, "How did you even know I was here?" Sakamoto smirks and replies, "When you were unconscious, I placed a tracker in your gun." Hearing this, Shin sighs and says, "I guess I'll be leaving this town today." But before he can go, Sakamoto hands him a uniform. "You'll get 400 rupees per hour," he says, "plus extra for overtime." Shin realizes it's a job offer. After a moment of hesitation, he accepts. And from the very next day, Shin joins Sakamoto in his shop, beginning a brand new chapter in his life. At the shop, Shin notices something unusual. Sakamoto was effortlessly emptying all the cups of ramen. Meanwhile, thanks to his mind-reading ability, Shin was able to serve customers exactly what they needed. Over time, Sakamoto's wife and daughter also start to like him. Even the little kid from before invites Shin to go outside and play. But Shin smiles and replies, "My shift isn't over yet. Besides, this job is way better than my last one." Curious, the kid asks, "What did you do before this?" Before Shin can answer, he suddenly hears Sakamoto's voice in his mind. "If you tell him, I will kill you." Feeling the pressure, Shin quickly says, I used to work as a cleaner. And with that, this episode comes to an end. So friends, what new dangers are waiting for Shin and Sakamoto? He praises Sakamoto, saying how dangerous he is even after retiring and how easily he defeated all those goons. Sakamoto tells Shin to get back to work, but Shin continues, saying, "You took them all down in an instant." Just then, Sakamoto's wife, Aoi, overhears their conversation. She asks Sakamoto if he has started working as a hitman again, to which Sakamoto fearfully denies it. Shin insists, "But you did take them all down." Sakamoto clarifies, "I didn't kill anyone. I just injured them badly." Hearing this, Aoi gets angry and threatens Sakamoto, saying that if he does anything bad and breaks the family rules, she will divorce him. This scares Sakamoto even more. When Aoi leaves, Shin asks, "What is this family rule?" Hearing this, Sakamoto considers hitting him with a pencil, but instead just tells him to shut up. Later, Sakamoto takes Shin to Nikita Chinatown. He needed to buy some supplies for his shop. However, Shin realizes that Sakamoto came all this way just to buy some buns that his family loves. Once again, Shin asks about the family rule, but Sakamoto refuses to answer. Since Shin can read minds, Sakamoto never speaks to him directly. Instead, he just talks to him in his head, which was quite funny. On their way back, a girl suddenly crashes through a window and falls onto Sakamoto, causing his buns to drop on the ground. She is being chased by some people, and she prepares to fight them. This mysterious girl's name is Lu Xiaotang. Shin urges Sakamoto to get out of there, but Sakamoto remains seated, staring at his ruined buns. The goons attack Lu, but she easily takes them down. Shin notices that she is using Tai Chi martial arts. Suddenly, a bald man grabs Lu from behind, and the rest of the goons try to stab her. However, Sakamoto breaks the knife using just his spoon and beats the man up. Shin also jumps in and takes down that bald man. One of the goons pulls out a gun, but Lu quickly takes him down. However, more goons arrive, assuming that Lu is part of their rival gang. Without wasting any time, Sakamoto picks up Lu and runs away. The goons try to chase him, but they fail to catch him. Later, they report to their boss, saying, "The girl escaped, and 2 men helped her." Hearing this, their boss gets furious. "We wiped out her entire clan just to find her, and you still let her escape." One of the men apologizes, but before he can say anything else, another man steps forward and slashes his neck. He then turns to his brother and says, "Look, he's still trying to breathe." These 2 men are Sun Hee and Bacho, brothers who are both completely ruthless. The boss tells his men that the girl has a key that he desperately need. If they obtain that key, they will control the entire black market. Therefore, they must find the girl at any cost and eliminate anyone who stands in their way. Meanwhile, Shin discovers that this girl is the daughter of a mafia family known as the Lu clan. The goons are after Lu's key, which belongs to a hidden vault of her clan. Her parents entrusted this key to her before they died. Shin asks, "Why don't you just throw the key away? Is it really more valuable than your life?" Lu responds, "My mom and dad sacrificed their lives to protect this key. If I just hand it over to the goons, how will I ever face them?" She then adds, "This isn't your problem," and walks away. At this moment, Sakamoto suddenly asks Lu, "Do you know how to make buns?" Lu says that her dad taught her how to make buns. Shin turns to Sakamoto and says, "We shouldn't get involved in this mess. I don't even like this girl." Sakamoto replies, "Let's cancel today's shopping. We have to protect her, and if we make it home alive, Lu will have to make buns for us." Before Lu can respond, Bacho suddenly appears and kicks Sakamoto in the face, sending him crashing into a building. As they are talking, the 2 goons arrive. Lu tells Shin, "These 2 are twin brothers and professional hitmen. They charge a fortune for their work, but they never leave their targets alive." She continues, "They're serial killers who take pleasure in murder. Their hobby is beheading their victims and sketching their faces afterward." Bacho smirks and says, "Looks like we become famous." To which Sun Hee replies, "We're hitmen. People shouldn't know this much about us." Enraged, Shin lunges at Sun Hee to attack him, but Sun Hee effortlessly grabs his hand and asks, "Are you angry because we killed your friend?" Shin smirks and says, "Do you really think he's dead? You're so stupid. You must be a novice hitman if you don't know about Sakamoto." Meanwhile, Bachou sneaks behind Lu and tries to kill her, but Sakamoto suddenly appears and slaps him so hard that he crashes through the roof. Sun Hee looks at Sakamoto and asks, "Who are you?" Sakamoto casually replies, "Rajma buns would taste good too," after breaking a roof. The fight now moves into a kitchen. Sun Hee glares at Lu and says, "Hand over the key and we'll give you a quick and painless death." Lu clenches her fists and replies, "This key is the last memory of my parents. I will never give it to you." Sun Hee smirks and says, "Your parents said the same thing right before I killed them." Enraged, Lu charges at Sun Hee, but Sakamoto quickly pulls her back. Shin tries to calm Lu down and says, "You shouldn't make decisions out of anger." Lu, still furious, replies, "That vault contains everything my family worked for, and these scoundrels killed my parents just to get to it." Suddenly, Sun Hee throws a kunai at Lu, but Sakamoto catches it effortlessly. Sun Hee narrows his eyes at Sakamoto and says, "Stay out of our way." But Lu doesn't understand. Why is Sakamoto risking his life to save her? At this moment, we see a flashback. Sakamoto had once brought a gift for Aoi, but his face was covered in blood. Aoi immediately realized that he had been killing people again, and she refused to accept the gift. She said, "If you can't leave this path, then we can't be together." Saying this, Aoi suddenly jumped off the roof. Without hesitation, Sakamoto jumped after her and caught her in mid-air. They both landed in the snow, softening their fall and preventing any injuries. Aoi looked at him and said, "If I had died, you would have missed me. That's why you jumped after me. This feeling is called love." She then made Sakamoto promise that he would never kill anyone again. This would be his new rule. To atone for all the sins he had committed, he would dedicate his life to saving people instead. Back in the present, Shin sees this entire flashback through Sakamoto's mind. He finally understands. This was Sakamoto's family rule. He can't kill anyone. Both brothers now launch a fierce attack on Sakamoto, but he effortlessly fights them off using just a spoon and a knife. Despite their relentless strikes, they can't even cut a single strand of his hair. Frustrated, they unleash their cast iron technique, attempting to slice him apart. However, Sakamoto dodges every attack with ease. At one point, one of his nerves gets strained, and Shin quickly wraps a bandage around it. Sun Hee is in shock. No one has ever escaped my attack before, he thinks. So how is Sakamoto, despite all these years, still completely unharmed? Realizing their usual techniques won't work, the brothers decide to use a more dangerous attack. But before they can act, Sakamoto suddenly hurls a pot at Bachou's head and smashes Sun Hee's weapon. Sun Hee abandons the fight with Sakamoto and instead charges toward Lu. However, Shin reads his mind and yanks him back just in time. Taking advantage of the moment, Sakamoto lifts an entire fridge and smashes it onto Sun Hee's head. With that, both brothers are knocked out cold. Shin then ties them up with a rope. Still in shock, Lu looks at them and asks, "Who the hell are you two?" Sakamoto casually responds, "We work at a shop." Meanwhile, the boss is growing impatient. "Where the hell are Sun Hee and Bachou?" he snarls. The treasure vault is right before him, but he needs the key to open it. Just then, Sakamoto and Shin arrive, dragging the unconscious Sun Hee and Bachou with them. The boss is stunned. How did they even get in here? Before he can react, Lu suddenly appears behind him and presses a knife against his neck. Terrified, the boss starts crying and begging for mercy, but Lu doesn't kill him. Instead, she beats him up badly and says, "You don't need to kill people for everything. We should let go of the past and live a happy life." She smiles slightly and adds, "That's what my dad always used to say." With that, Lu finally unlocks the vault. Inside, there is a vast treasure, but also something unexpected: books, CDs, and even toys. In one of the books, it is written that each head of the Lu clan must leave their most valuable possession in this vault. Over the generations, different leaders had placed different things inside. Lu's father had left behind a special drink, one he had planned to share with Lu when he grew up. Sakamoto then takes out his buns, which he had been holding on to all this time. Though they were crushed, they still looked delicious. The three of them sit down and start eating together. The next day, Lu also begins working at Sakamoto's shop. She takes on the role of making pork buns. Shin, surprised, says, "You have such a huge treasure, yet you're working here?" Lu simply replies, "I won't use my family's wealth." Meanwhile, Sakamoto turns to Shin and says, Now that you're part of my family, you'll have to follow the family rule too. No killing. On the other hand, we see a secret meeting taking place. It is revealed that there is now a massive bounty on Sakamoto's head. Whoever kills him will receive a reward of 1 billion yen. And with that, the episode comes to an end. So friends, how did you like this episode? Let me know in the comments. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to smash that like button and share it with your anime-loving friends. And hey, if you're new here, hit that subscribe button and turn on the bell icon so you never miss an update. I'll see you super soon in the next video. Stay awesome! Thank you!